You see, me and Mom don't get to live places because we want to live there. We usually have had to live in places out of desperation because we didn't want to live on the street or under a bridge. We like electricity. We like watching TV from time to time. Mom likes it a little bit more often than she once did, but when she was more active and her body was, she was more able, she was outside all the time, and I'm trying to get to her to an environment where she can do that yet again. Hi, welcome to my tube. My name's Marge. I'm a Heyoka Empa. I just like having these talks. I get a lot of time to think, sort things out, try to figure things out. I think I think society and the collective consciousness, which I call the sum of all parts, is just like a big puzzle, and I'm just trying to put it together. So the puzzle isn't ugly, but the puzzle is ugly because we got people and their free will, and we see our collectively at the sum of all parts is seeing what is happening when people live predominantly from their ego and they shit on their spirit. I said I'm at this place in Taos. See, because they care so much about how a town is pronounced, but I mock them because they care about the wrong thing. They care about more about how you say a city's name than how work ethic is conducted in said city. And I went to this place a couple months ago because they were recommended by me to me. And I go in, I call them up, I say this is what I want to do, a hen pinch, and then I say I need a door latch mechanism looked at. And they're like, well, come in, we'll look at it, we'll decide. I'll talk to the owner, so we'll decide. I basically you walk in the door and the two gargoyles at the desk. They act like they're nice, but they're all snarly and ugly when they look in the mirror. Because nice people don't act like that. Nice people aren't fake like that. See, I'm a genuine, authentic person, and I think other people are genuine, authentic, and then I go in there and they let me know that they're fake as fuck, and they're more of that just stupid cousin born and raised shit because they don't want to choose to use their free will to act better than that. And if they had a problem with me, they could have talked to me and addressed the problem out. Instead, when I talked to them last week, and the girl said, yeah, I was going to email you. I was going to have you come in on Tuesday or Wednesday, and we'll take care of you. We're going to take care of you. That's what we'll take care. And when I went in there before, she was, oh, we're going to take care of you. They're all, they suck you in. They act like you're nice. And then when I go and show up yesterday, they said, no, we're not going to do it. We don't want to deal with the parts. It's just, it's too old, which is bullshit. Because what they didn't know, I did tell them, though, but people don't retain things when they're small-minded operations. And what I let her know is, or what I let people know is I was the TODO. I worked in production support at Office Air Force Base. So I know a lot about supply chain. So when I made this appointment, I looked up, because I thought I wanted them to do extra stuff, like put bumpers on. And there's all kinds of freaking, aftermarket, custom places that could do it. And I was willing to pay $3-4 grand at this shop. Like, let's dress her up, right? Let's make it nice. And then I walk in and your money is no good here is what I get. And I'm just like, I wonder what was it that I did that they don't want to come direct with me? What is it that I did to piss off the stupid cousins? Did you see me? Did you see my truck? Did I say something that you didn't like about how elections are silly, but they had 4 people with all this? Was it one of them on the street corner? Was it that? Or is it the fact that one day I was pulling in and they have Deputy Doofus, so they're in connection with the fraternal brotherhood of butt stuff of Taos County, the sheriff and stuff, because it's all racket, They pick and choose who they want to give customer service to and be all kind and nice. I even gave those dumb bitches fucking stickers and stuff. I'm glad I don't do that to expect people to be nice back. You know, and I think it's really funny that I live in Taos and I'm surrounded by indigenous Native American that I'm related to because mom was born here, which is another funny story. And how quickly forget the brown friends forget, like, it was never like that. Like, how they said in the school books, that's a lie because America's based on lies and butt stuff. And then to have a whole community where I'm surrounded by fellow indigenous blooded people, but I got blue blood, colonial blood in me too. So I got both minds. I got the lizard mind and the third eye mind. It's all activated in me. And these people celebrate. All they do is celebrate is stuffing their face, and at that start to finish. When I left, how it ended was I said third eye activated. I said I'm gonna go. I said I'm gonna write a review for you, and then I'm gonna email you the link so you guys can watch the review. Because you don't know that I'm a good person because you must not be a good person, so you don't recognize it in me. And I'm a good person, so I think everybody's good person and they're fake as fuck because I can't tell the difference. I learn lessons, and that's my path and my lot in life. That's how I learn lessons. It just helps me up my security. It helps me fine-tune my discernment. And I walked out because it's a family-owned business, so don't tell me it's your boss. You made the decision to not want to take my money to exchange for goods and services. So that's your prerogative. I don't get to get mad at people for denying. When I was a kid, people would ignore me and deny me. And I'd want to be seen, and I'd throw a tantrum and a fit, and I'd flash, and sometimes I'd break stuff, and then I'd have to get in trouble. Then I'd have to go think about how I should have processed my emotions wisely, and I should have gone outside and rode my bike or stomped my feet or done anything else but pick that thing up and throw it. So I learned my lessons because I got older, and that's what you're supposed to do. But when you live in places like Taos County in the last place state, you have people that just live the same year over and over. They just repeat the same year. It's Groundhog's Day. So, and it's weird. And you want to know how I've talked about this stuff before, and they talk about how, like, the kings and queens are lizards and blue bloods. And I was like, well, yeah, hasn't anybody ever seen a blue-bellied lizard? I grew up catching lizards, and they had blue bellies, and they had, like, yellow bellies. And then they had like there was 3 of them and I could never keep them because I get so excited when I see them. I couldn't remember. Okay, one of them will bite you, it'll make you sick, can't touch it. And then one of them, they had like their limbs would grow back. And I always thought, you know, people that are weird enough to mix their people DNA, how come people, you know, I bet there's people that they clone people's parts, and then so, like, you know, and then I thought, because everybody's bitching and moaning about that roll guy, donut roll guy, and his wife came on and said, everyone thinks my husband's a clone and all whatever, you know, and it's like, to me, I think that there's an accident, something happened, and then they died, but they want to profit from the person. But now the people are scared because the famous people are scared because they can just do AI, they can just do fake holograms. So they don't even need the personality anymore because they can create the personality. Is what they're because when people want to control things and dictate things and make it their way, it's weird. It evolves ultimately to butt stuff. Diddy parties, Hugh Hefner parties, people letting themselves go to have a good time and then doing things that they don't want the world to know because they would be terribly, terribly embarrassed. And I am so ready for it. I'm ready for so many people to be terribly, terribly embarrassed because they did weird, creepy, pervy things. And it needs to stop. The storyline of dominance and control and the whole colonial, you know, do as we say, don't do as we do because we do butt stuff. Like religion, politics, all of it. DC and Hollywood are the same thing. They all exist to create a contrite, to make you believe in things outside of yourself, and then people are starting to figure out the power within themselves. I figured out just screwing around with the lighter one day, watching YouTube videos about 5 years ago. I remember the first one I did, I can't remember the name of it, but I was like, hey, Mom, check this out. I got the ability of telekinesis. And I've been playing with that shit ever since. Seeing how I could shift and move energy. I don't even got to say nothing. I don't got to say a word. And I could have Deputy Doofus coming down on me, hitting me with this little Deputy Doofus stick. With this little switch him out stick. But if I did that to him, I'd go to jail. But he has a shiny little badge. I didn't say a word to him. Call your supervisor. I'm glad. One day I'd kind of like to see get the body cam footage from Deputy Doofus that day, so the world could see my face. You know, because you're like, do you know why I pulled you over? Because your Taos High School education failed you. Right? That's why. Because you do what you want, and rules, regulations, policies, and procedures be damned, because you're a man. The little sausage wiener between his legs, so you want to put me in my place? Then I walked out, I was like, you know, I told the girl, I said, yeah, this happens to me a lot. You know, it's because I'm a strong female, I'm a strong woman, and men that, you know, little tubbos, they could be skinny, I don't care, it's just a mentality as far as I'm concerned. Tubbos, little fat head, meathead tub of large, like, they look at me, and they think I'm better than, because if they were me, that's the attitude that they would have. I don't think I'm better than anyone until people start acting stupid. And then I start pointing out the similarities. Yeah, I was overweight. I felt insecure, and I would pull power trips too, but then I started lifting up my weight, and I could tell these people how to feel better about themselves. They don't have to do that bullshit power play. You're missing out on money and knowing a good person. So yeah, men, I found it's quite common. Small men, and I'm surrounded by tiny little men. That's why the tinier the men, or the tinier the men feel, or whatever, the more guns you have in a population. So I'm just dodging bullets on both sides of the badges out here in the last place state. So I just stay home and make candy. I made a batch of caramel this morning. Didn't turn out good. I know where I messed up, but it's learning. I'm gonna make the perfect recipe where I could just like pre-measure stuff, throw it in the morning, and then I want to even make like a heated bowl, like a mixer that has induction somehow, like a KitchenAid mixer, like an industrial, that the bowl heats up and mixes at the same time, so I don't have to stir it. But it has to get up to 260 degrees, and that's the trouble I ran into today too. So yeah, old Val, at that start to finish, dude. Look, I bet he's used to not finishing what he starts, because they didn't even start what they said. They gave me an estimate, like there was a commitment, like yeah, we'll do it, and then they're like, nah, we don't want to. They just reneged. They just not, and I went in, because I'm gonna write a review next week. I'm gonna write a review on Google. Either people get 5 stars or 1 stars. They get 1 stars. I'm gonna put this link, or I'm gonna take a screenshot of the thumbnail of this video, and then, because they're, you know, pictures. And I was so worked up because nobody ever tells me what I do. They just ignore. They just go away, you know. And Mom is like, don't be a bullshit. Like, tell people, like tell them what they did. Okay, I'll tell them. All right. And so I'm not used to indirect coward bitches, and I'm surrounded in them in Taos. They're everywhere. They try and run into me at the grocery store. Like, it's just bully shit. And you want to bully me, I'll bully you back, and I bully bullies. And it's so weird because I go to other places and I'm so cool with other people. And they never tell me. And so I left and I called Mr. Iskey and I said, Mr. Iskey, I said, is this weird? I said, they told me I couldn't get parts and I had already researched parts. Is this weird? He said, yeah. I said, they're fucking with me, huh? They just don't like me, huh? And he's like, cause I'm autistic. I can't tell. Cause I think people are being cool and they're, I don't deal with nobody except people I give money to in this town because people aren't cool enough. You gotta like pay them to be your friend because they don't know how to be decent people. And then they go around putting up little TikToks about accountability and shit. It's so funny. It's so funny. I don't like living here. We're not living here anymore. We're moving. And then I'm going to watch the degress of Taos after we leave. Because that's what happened after we left Omaha. Dude, for Thanksgiving, for like 14 years, every Thanksgiving night, I would go to a ladies' meeting in Bellevue, Nebraska. And it would just be like a gather meeting, talk about gratitude, stuff like that. And then like just to get away from your family that makes you crazy. It's a timeout, And it was like a tradition. Because I didn't grow up having no tradition. So I borrowed other people. Now I know enough to go gather my own. And so they don't even do that no more. They closed the meeting instead. And I was like, so they can't get enough people to find so much gratitude in their life that they want to share the gratitude. Like, I get what the big book talks about. I get how important it is to have obsessive minds and think about every possible outcome that could be. And instead of being afraid about that, you get into action where you can help, even if you don't like the people that you're going to help. See, it's not about liking people. But that's the only thing I ever got out of the military that I really, really liked. And that is that you just had to work together. And if you had a beef with somebody, the first chain of command is going to that person and talking to them about what you got beef about. And if that doesn't work, then you got to go to the supervisors, and then you got to go to the flight chiefs, and then you got to go all the way up to the commander, and the commander be like, well, if you tie your little wieners together, go stand in the corner, and then work it out. That's basically what it is. Figure it out. Like, whatever you have to do your job and get along and not fight. Just do your job. And where I live, like, I think COVID broke people's brains where they got to the place where they weren't doing service in mass quantities, and it became like a take a number, which made the people, it was like a power shift. It made the people that help people in charge, and they're freaking inferior complexes and all that stuff, so they want to make people wait and dance, puppet this and that. I'll do it when I feel like, all that stuff that comes with it. I worked in corporate America. I worked at hospitals. Like, all the waiting we did when we were poor growing up is exactly what I suspected. It's because somebody was taking a nap. It's because somebody didn't feel compelled to put any urgency in on what they did into our world, and now and that just grew. It grew like the great nothing in the never-ending story. And I've been trying to create this earth where there's just fruit and vegetables everywhere, and you just create a cool environment. And it don't gotta be like China, but just make an environment where everybody has access. I think they need to do, HR needs to be run by astrologers. That's how I think it should go. Then you have all these intuitive empaths, whatever they want to call themselves, and then they can put them in positions, not based on any agenda, just all based on proactivity. And when people are in positions that are in alignment with them, then they're a lot more they're a lot more productive. But less and less people are happy, and I guess we're just celebrating Mom's birthday all week long because Mom's birthday's Friday, and we never did holidays. So because they just came with so much disappointment. Holidays did because. Like people compare to where they were before, and either it was better or worse then, but there's always weight of sadness that holds on to that, and they aren't grateful. They aren't grateful at all. If people are grateful as the holidays promote that people are in this crazy realm we all coexist on, they wouldn't be in the shapes that they are. Like people are too young to be broke down body, to be as sick as they are, because they're not participating in their own lives, because they're not doing those things to inconvenience themselves that make them better people. And it's not for me to tell who. I think it's funny. I can't say it's not for me to judge them. I'm an INFJ, so it's absolutely for me. I put the judge in INFJ judge. So, the shift is happening. So there's a lot more people are just hanging on to ideas and ideologies and how they think things would be and how they think that how they once were, and you just gotta let go. Let go, let good orderly direction dictate, Like, I always thought rules, regulations, policies, and that's why I only did that. Another big, huge, predominant reason why I only did 6 years is because it's a lie. Because people are only playing a role in the military. They're only playing soldier. What makes a soldier? What really makes a soldier? The whole world is scripted. All a policy is a script. All a job description is a script. A class has syllabuses. It's a script. Every play, like concert I go to, they give you a program. That's a program. It's a script. The program is the script. You will watch this. You will act like this. You will want to consume. You will want to do these things. You will get caught up in the frequency of others. If you do not learn how to go to the no place space, meditate, check out of the world, and create. That's the only way we're going to make a different kind of world. And I'm out of Taos, man. I tried to build community here, and people are just fakes and liars. Not at Legacy Cafe. They're cool there. I know what I get at the Legacy Cafe, and I did a TikTok yesterday because I did my horoscope says you generally care about others, and now is a good time to listen or guide someone. I tried, but they don't want a guide. They want a freaking green and red chilies. So fuck it. I don't want to live that way. I'm going to go live someplace else. There's this thing, the earth element is underrepresented. You generally care about others. Where'd it go? I don't know. Let's see. Hi, boys. There's a thing here called the Taos hum. And I'm just like, that's just the vibrational frequency of born and raised. It's the noise, the vibrational frequency of stupid cousin. It's not in Taos, it's every place that, like, there's been this influence of stagnation across America. Consternation of a nation. There's this thing at the laundromat in Taos. That's not it. Where is it? Maybe I need to take a picture of it at the. It's about not letting Taos change you, and I absolutely, or it says don't try and change Taos. Let Taos change you, and it's the biggest crock of crap I ever heard. And you know what occurred to me? Mom's birthday's coming up on Friday. Mom was a love child. I was doing the bath because I think about like how people get here, and I'm like, why do people do it 10 months ago? Like, and you have a lot of Virgos because they're freaking love children. They're It's so funny how Virgos come from Valentine's Day, and and in balance they're like lustful, gluttonous, power hungry weirdos. Want to do talk shows. Anyway, don't let child uh don't. So yeah, mom was the last baby born. Um, she was like came around conceived around valent conception, whatever. Uh, and then when she was born with 2 club feet, they looked at her as being cursed or problem they didn't want to deal with, her deformity. Uh, and then they threw her away to an orphanage. Like, if why don't people think that, like, you do stuff like that comes back to you. You do bad things, those bad things come back to you. You hinder people. And I'm talking about lying by omission, which is lying because you leave parts out. How many people in America don't know that's a thing, yet they do it every day, constantly, because they want to control and dominate their reality. And I just keep thinking about what reality would be if people didn't try to manipulate and control and chase sensations all the time. They're always chasing sensations. Do this because it feels good. Do that because it feels good. A lot of sellouts, man. Taos sold its soul. Taos, because it makes people and it gives people permission. It doesn't hold people accountable. Taos doesn't hold people accountable. Like, there's constantly people driving like assholes, wrecking and dying now. That's like a daily thing. But who cares? Because people have free will. I mean, they even have car clubs. They even, give them, like, it's a weird, so we're leaving. We're going to leave town. We had 5 years here to give the relatives of Crescelia Cisneros, that's Mom's mom. That was cool about coming here, though, because I did get a picture. And so I got to see where Mom got her face, and then I got my face. And see, that's another reason why I will keep Mom until she takes her last breath. I'll be in bed with her when she takes her. Hopefully, I'm home. Hopefully, it's up to her. It's up to her when she checks out to go to the Rainbow Bridge, be with Sass, hang out till I get there. It's up to her. I have no say. I just hope that I'm going to be there holding her, loving her, because I've had generations of people that I've had to make up for, and so I can teach other generations of people that you don't throw things that you love. You don't throw people. You create an environment where all families can stay together, and not this make up believe where people got to go to work 9 to 5 and do this and that and this rule and regulation, and so the us rule followers get duped into all doing the weird deeds. You want to know who the bad guys are? Ask people in the IT industry, because we're the ones that are setting up the cameras and stuff like that. IT and like the administrative assistants, receptionists, they always know the reality of what's going on, who the creeps are. I know who the creeps are because I just know who the creeps are, because it's a blessing and a curse. So I try to use it to not be like them. So I'm just gonna go. Me and Mom are gonna be old lady golden girls on only wilderness edition, homestead version. I'm just gonna make candy. and just hang out with Mom. We're gonna get more cats and dogs. Invite people to come hang out. Then we're gonna sit around and we're gonna talk about things that I want to do there. And then if people like any of my ideas at all, they are free to use any of them. Just say, yeah, this Marge. Just give credit where credit's due. I've had so many ideas stolen, which I don't care. Because it comes back to me in other ways. So, whatever, service is denied here, there's 6, 7 other shops that would be happy. See, I knew I wasn't in alignment with those people. And every time I deal with anybody, it's always a we'll see, because it's a 50-50 chance, because people got free will and they could use it to be cool or they could use it to suck. And that whole family owned and operated, start to finish, couldn't finish because you couldn't even start with me. And I'm a person of integrity. I got awards. I got awards from the military. I'm in good standing with men that did way bigger shit than I did. Way more important stuff than me. They think I'm cool. They know I'm a person. And so I called Mr. Iskey and I was like, Mr. Iskey, he said, yeah, they probably don't have people that know how to do it. I said, it's I found a minute and 30-second YouTube video but see, I don't want to go, I was spoiled in the military because you always had parts on hand and you didn't take a piece of equipment down and you didn't give it a red X on the form unless you had the part. If you could still use it, if it was still operational, you still use it. And then, but we had a lot of parts, and then we'd get close to the end of the fiscal year and then we couldn't get no parts, and it was always a thing. But they always had enough money to make new buildings because it's a show. It's off it is a set. It was a stage. It's just real people die in the level of production that they do. Then they end up having, the number in which this nation spends on male enhancement drugs only grows every year. Last year it was at 58 million. And it just keeps going up because men in America are doing it less and less. They need more help because they don't got stuff to boom to tell themselves that they're in charge and blah, they're important and all this stuff. You know how many military member officers end up like their mental state has declined, degenerated to the point of what they were as a 4-year-old child. And you gotta keep telling them to keep it in your pants. You're an old man. Nobody wants to see that because they're stuck in a frequency of a different time, and they never had to be accountable for any of their actions. Anything that they ever did has always been covered up. I've known a lot of those people. My dad was one of them. He didn't spend time in jail, to my knowledge, because his mom and dad had influence. That influence never trickled to me. And I guess my brother don't work at the office or pro no more. He gets $240,000 a year for workman's comp cases. Isn't that weird that somebody makes that much for doing something of little significance? I think it's an imbalance. I love that World War III is of a spiritual variety, and I don't care. I'm going to contribute by making candy on a mountain and hanging out with my mom and critters. And whatever happens outside of that mountain, it's of no consequence to me. Because I try to be a part of the earth. I try to be cool with people. I try to build community. Every place I go, I'm just trying to build community. And these people are so closed off and so withholding and so verses in me and this and that. And I'm just going to bless and release and go on to someplace else. And I don't got to try no more. That is such a free place to be. direct deposit. I don't got to deal with nobody. Swipe my card, do whatever I want, because what I want to do ain't that much. And then just go around and just try and bring joy to people's lives. Because I don't want nothing, because I don't need nothing. And there's all these people out here hustling, trying to figure out, oh my gosh, everything's only going up. How am I going to pay for this? What am I going to do? Well, geez, when I was a little kid, and I thought, and I had the life I had, and I had imagined a future, and that future did not include having children, so none of this shit is my mess. People have kids, they have pets is what they do, and they want them to be obedient, and they have an imagination, and they want that thing to live how they always wanted them to. And that's not how life works. And then once they figure that out, they just want to deny the thing that's not going to go along. I got to give a bunch of these away. I was so worked up about that, I had to go spread love and joy. So I went and got me a chili cheese dog, walked around, talked to Mongoose. I said, I'm gonna leave Taos to the trash heaps. And then he's a good dude. He sells his wares. I don't think I had enough cash to buy stuff from him yesterday, but I still like to support people, you know. Then I got to go over to the lady at the candy shop. Her birthday is April 10th. I let her know I'm gonna miss her, and I got to make a reel and put it on TikTok because I got to ask her questions about candy. So I got to make a TikTok. So she was I was asking her questions while she was doing this. And I was like, yeah, it's like, I said, you've probably been doing this so long, it's like muscle memory, huh? Like you ever close your eyes and you're still doing it in your sleep, like when I used to play too much Tetris. So, oh, there he is. There's my homie Mongoose. So if you ever come to Taos, and you see this homie, tell him Marge said hey. He's a cool dude. Like, he's the only person. I lived here 5 years, and I'll come up on him someplace in a parking lot, and I'll be like, hey dude, I said, and he'll be like, hey, and he'll be like, you want a brownie? Because I'm always giving people cookies, but I don't get that back a lot. And he's one of them. So that was a good picture of him. But, yeah, because right now I'm just kind of going around doing a bunch of footage, because I know I'm not going to be here this is the last season I'm going to be here, so it's like a memory bank to me of photos. That's what my library is. It's like, I can people talk about astrology and planetary alignments, and I can go back in history and see where I was in my life and how that's how I learned astrology. Yeah, but he makes some pretty cool stuff. I bought one of his lighter covers before. I think it has a feather on it. But, you know. And he parks down in the free parking lot, and then he freaking, I was like, hey dude, can I help you carry some of that? He's like, no, but he was like shocked because I even asked him. I said, I get that's probably part of your PT. So you stay fit because you got to carry your own shit. And that's what Mom taught us a long time ago, is that don't have more than you can carry in life. Like, don't have so much stuff. If something happens, you don't know what to do with it. Because we've had to bug out. We had to freaking escape. Mom was a pretty lady. And so men like to end pretty things. So, I mean, she's had her head slammed in a car door. Like, men have straight up tried to end her from this planet. Because she's got five planets in Sagittarius. So she's got a light, and evil just wants to extinguish that light. They just want to do whatever they can to make that light less. And she ain't never let it happen, because every day she wakes up, she's so happy. She wins because she's still happy. She's going to be 75. It's amazing, the thing that she's lived through. She is an anomaly. And I'm an anomaly that comes from an anomaly, which in fact is an anomaly of it by itself. you know? Because we're still joyful. It's not just all the, people go through crap, but do they still dance and clown around and play? Do they still play? Or do they just go to this activity and to that activity to do the next thing to stimulate themselves because they don't have that joy, that stimulation of and by within themselves? I'm going to be 52. Mom's going to be 75 Friday. And we just celebrate every... Ma, are you awake today? Thank you, Lord. Give me a few minutes if you want to get up. I'll help you, okay? I'm going to wrap it up. And then I'll get out of your chair, all right? You're so nice. So anybody out in society that thinks I'm a big, mean, scary, jerky asshole woman, just know the person that knows me best, that has a head injury, that is like, but we got past so many years of anger because she hated me. Because I was the point of, she could have gone off and had a good life if she didn't have to deal with me, and I was her mistake. And my dad hated me because I was the mistake. So like both of them, like I was like, and they would take stuff out on me and I would just take it. So I could take it. So I could take it from anybody. I could also dish it out too. And she could still, every day, like 4 or 5 times a day, that's something that she just started saying probably in the last 6 weeks. You're so nice. And then whatever, it will be doing something and she'll stop. She'll stop and she'll like stop, like I'll put dinner down in front of her and she'll like push I put her food on this TV tray is what I set stuff on here, and she'll push it back and she'll stand up and she'll be like, I just want to give you a hug. So all those things that I wanted from her, all those ways I wanted her to treat me when I was a little girl, she wanted to, but she was in so much fear she had to play the role of the masculine. So she couldn't be soft. She had to power through horrific events, and people that haven't had that experience, they don't know what it's like, so they overlook people like us a lot. But because we got to evolve, we both became the best version of ourselves because we stuck it out, She's been with me since 2008, and she was self-sufficient for a number of years. It wasn't until 2017 that I started noticing I would go off gallivanting around on my adventures and my excursions on the weekends because I knew the dogs were cool because she'd let them out, every couple hours because she let Sassy out. And then I started, because she was starting, something was happening with her neurological condition, and I started noticing like Sassy wasn't going out so much, and like things weren't like happening, and then when I in Oregon in 2017, she wasn't I'd make food, or I'd leave and I'd come back and realize like 4 hours and there would not be any evidence of her eating anything, so I just know that she was just sitting there and like her mind was gone. And that her days of taking care of herself were over, and that's when I needed to step up. But I didn't know how to take care of myself. And I've never, at the time, she was 65. I was like 10 years ago, 64, 63. She turned 70 in Flagstaff, Arizona. And so I'm trying to figure out how to learn how to take care of myself while learning how to take care of my mom with special needs, because she has to eat nice and light and soft. She had 6 inches of her rectum and lower intestines cut out. She almost died then too, and that was the same year. It was like within a 12-month period of her getting her head, like, it's amazing she is still here. The things, and then I watch people on screens and TVs, and they talk about their lives, and I'm like, how unremarkable. How unremarkable. And then I tune out. And then I look for other people that have had remarkable lives. Because I came from mom who's had such a remarkable life. And born and raised ain't remarkable. See, because mom was born in Cuesta. So she was born here. She just didn't have the special whatever to be raised to. You know, she's odd man out. Then she had Marge, Chiron and Aries, odd man out. Like, whatever, odd woman out. Woman, I have no desire to be a man. I don't need parts that are ultimately going to break. Odd woman out, you know. We just learn how to adapt and make the best of it and have a good time and go with the flow and, you know, do all the stuff that these really important people pay themselves so much. How funny is anybody in the spiritual world that still celebrates holidays? That cracks me up. They talk about the fifth dimension and fucking turkey stuffing. It's stupid. I can't with these people. I won't with these people. Anybody that does anything holidays now, I'm just like, oh, they're still on 3D Earth. Okay. That's cute. That's nice. All of them. But they're fucking $90,000 Jeep Rubicons and shit, like stupid stuff that is not practical. You know? It's a funny, funny world we live in. That's what I got for now. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you have a right day. And peace.